Well, identity thieves are stealing credit and debit card numbers with an act of swiping someone else's card through a small electronic device. This method of stealing identities is known as skimming, and it can happen anywhere, at ATMs, gas stations, and restaurants. And here to tell us more about how to avoid becoming a victim of skimming is Mike Pruszynski, an identity theft risk management specialist. What's the company name?
Company's name's LifeLock.
LifeLock, okay. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about skimming. I'm sure a lot of people here have dealt with problems like that where they see something on their credit card bill and they say, oh my God, I didn't swipe there. So what is skimming?
Well, skimming is basically you take a device similar to this right here, which is your typical skimming device. They're getting to be smaller and smaller. As you can see, this can almost fit right in the palm of my hand. Now, if I'm working at a restaurant as a waiter or waitress, you can find these in your apron. They take your card away from the table. They walk away. They swipe it one time for themselves. They swipe it one time for the restaurant. Then all this is captured. The data is captured in this little holder. Then all it takes is them to go and use what's called an encoder, a bigger item here, that allows them to take the card information, transfer it over to a computer, and then they can go make actual credit cards to go out there and make those purchases. But as you said, once they've got that credit card number, they could do it online. They could do it over the telephone. They don't necessarily absolutely have to have a card.
So how often is this happening? Are you seeing this problem? Is it becoming a bigger problem? And a device like this, how can they get this, and how easy is it to get?
Well, we got these two devices off Craigslist, so we were able to go purchase this equipment, much like most identity thieves can. Then they go out there and they just go out and make the money. So how often does it happen? It happens more and more. You said it yourself. Happens at gas stations, restaurants, but now we have people with the economy as bad as it is, sits at home. They do the exact same thing. Or they go hire friends that are working in restaurants to work for them to capture that data, go out there and make those credit card charges. And we all know that we don't look at our statements as closely as we need to. And you may have a charge for $1, $2, $3. But when you think about how many times these individuals are hitting this account, they could hit it 100 times and you may not know it, and they've got $100 from you.
And how do we protect ourselves from this? Because it seems like if they've got a device like this and you're giving your credit card at the restaurant, you can't really do anything.
Well, understand there are built-in protections if you're using your credit card. Once you prove to the credit card company that you didn't make this purchase, you're not going to be liable for those costs. The danger is if you're using your debit card when you go to restaurants or to stores and they get that material or they get that number, that you're giving them direct access to your bank account, that they can go withdraw whatever funds they want without the protections in place. So what we like to tell people is don't use your debit card. My wife and I are here on vacation, and I'll use a credit card every time and won't use my debit card.
What other advice do you have for people out there who are worried that their identity or their credit card numbers might be stolen?
Well, go out there and get educated about what the crime of identity theft is, what skimming's all about, where you could potentially see the machines, whether it be a gas station, a restaurant. Don't be afraid to walk with the waiter or waitress once they take your card. Walk with them. See where they're doing the scanning for the store. It's a little bit difficult.
Yeah, I think people would think you're crazy if you're going to go up and walk with
They will,
with the
but
waitress.
you know what? There's restaurants now that are starting to put the technology in place to do the actual card scan right at your table, and that's really what we need to do. It's very common in Europe. Now we need to do that here in the United States.
It sounds like good advice. Mike Pruszynski, he's an identity theft risk management specialist. And if you want to see the interview again or any other segments featured on today's morning show, you can go to the morning website, KITV.com this morning. Mike, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.